when I was in the Army. There's a playlist for that. This morning I was out in the world and I walked in and there's a Marine I work with. He likes everybody to know he is a Marine. And what I get out of, and truly, no offense to the Marines, because even the Chinese say, if you were something, you are something. So to say that you weren't, you were this once before, they say, no, you are this now. And it's a very enlightening experience. So I don't hold that against him. I believe that the difference between an 8-week basic training in the Army and a 12-week basic training in the Marines gives the Marines more time to get fucking brainwashed into believing this is what they do. Even if they don't support the Constitution, this is what they are. Wait, you fucking took an oath to uphold the Constitution against all enemies, and foreign and domestic and all that. But the interesting thing, I'm walking into this place out in the world, and this Marine, he comes up, he starts trying to intimidate. I don't know why he's trying to intimidate me all the time, but it doesn't fucking work, and he sees it. So you'd think he'd stop. But I'm walking, and he comes at me, and he's like I'm supposed to walk around him in front of everybody. And instead I said, oh. I gave him a big fucking bear hug, and he's like, hey. And he acted like he stabbed me in the side, and I said, that's why you don't fucking hug people you don't know. It's like a handshake and the fist bump. A handshake is a salute. Why did they do that way in the Marines? The England places, they act like that's a goof. No, that's showing that everything's okay. How? Good. But to do a fist bump, what are you carrying in your fucking hand? So that it negates the honor of a handshake, a fist bump. And so and what I realized at this point, when I look at people like this that are trying to do something like this, and then you think about somebody, the next one down the line that might think they're gonna attack you, and it's like, no. And I realized, thinking about it just now, that most of the military might not understand the 5-point contingency plan. The legs, the people that are just fucking grunts, they do what they're told. But me, the first time I trained with Special Forces, it was out of punishment. They said, we're sending you out to the Uvari for 2 weeks. I'm like, what? And they were trying to punish me like it was a fucking problem for me to go out to the Uvari for 2 weeks. But it was with the Special Forces, with intensive, because with the 82nd Airborne Division, they look at people that are possibly going to move up to Special Forces, and they take their fucking, and we're trained as guerrillas. That's the third phase. It's called Robin Sage. It's the third phase of Special Forces training. When they graduate after that, they train guerrillas, and they used us, these knuckle fucker nugs, as guerrillas, and they trained us in guerrilla warfare. So this first time, I'm like, and we get to jump in, and I got to hold a fucking stick, and the fucking airplane came flying down and picked up the fucking message. It's like skyhook shit, you know, right out of Batman. I got to do all the best stuff, and it was so exciting and fucking educational that I actually volunteered to do it again. I came around about a year later. I said, when is this Robin Sage thing coming up? Something they used as a punishment for me for being a guy. For leading an unruly fucking mob of people that I wasn't even trying to lead. They're like, we got to get this fucker out of here. Punish him. Send him to Detroit. And so they sent me out for Robin Sage. And I learned special forces, fucking guerrilla warfare. And again, next time it came around, they were like, what? You want to go back? I said, yeah, I know they take people like us. And I'm like, yeah, I'll go out there. And so I've had extensive training in guerrilla warfare, and I am a trained killer with no regard for human life. And, you know, I say human life is sacred, but humanity is a fucking anomaly. We're the only things that kill just for fun. Everything else, well, it kills to survive, or it fights until the other one sits down and shuts up. But during this whole thing, even Sergeant Camello, I think his name was, when we jumped in on my second trip, when they were like, yeah, get him the fuck out of here. So I got to go do Robin Sage again and get trained some more guerrilla warfare shit. We jumped in at night, of course, and you walk up, you fucking muster, and this Sergeant Camillo, that was there the first time, he looks at me and he's like, you're back? I said, yeah. He said, I thought you didn't like this. I said, it was fantastic. I was just playing the part, because you're supposed to argue against the fucking American fucking criminal thugs when they're trying to teach you shit. They're supposed to bring you around that's part of the Robin Sage thing. They have to bring you around to their way of thinking. That's how they graduate. But I'm like, of course. But one of the things I learned during Robin Sage was the 5-point contingency plan. I hadn't heard that anywhere else. And so now here, you got some Marine coming at you, and I just don't play the game. That's why I grabbed him today. You don't want to fuck with me. Look at me. I'm skinny. I've got long hair. I smile a lot. You don't fucking really know me, do you? Why is it that you think I'm smiling? That's because I know you. But the 5-point contingency plan, if this doesn't work when you're supposed to meet up, you meet up at another place. And if that doesn't work, you meet up at another place. There's 5-point contingency plan. You have to think 5 times ahead of what can go wrong and be ready for it. And so I look at other people there, and it reminds me of the movie Once We're Warriors. It's a New Zealand movie where there's a guy with his family in a bar, and there's a guy that just got out of prison. He's just a fucking brute. The guy in the bar with his family is a brute too, but he's an older man. This young man just got out of prison, and he's so proud of it. And he fucks with the whole situation. And the father looks at him and says, "You want to fuck with me?" Pow!